In this episode, I'm joined by scientist and NDA researcher Bob Copes, who has spent decades studying over 100 near death experiences. He shares what these profound journeys reveal about the interconnectedness of all things and how unconditional love isn't just a feeling, it's the foundation of everything. Welcome to Dial Up Intuition, a podcast that invites you to awaken and expand your intuition. I'm your host, Kat Sanders. I was a radio and television broadcaster before a massive brain hemorrhage caused me to flatline. That life-changing event led to a beautiful near-death experience. And when I came back, I returned with some profound truths and the ability to connect with the other side. In this podcast, we'll explore these truths and learn how to strengthen your intuition and intuitive gifts. You'll hear conversations with remarkable intuitives who'll share how their gifts came alive, evolved, and became part of their daily lives. So whether you're just beginning your intuitive journey or you're ready to go deeper, this is your space to be inspired, guided, and reminded that your intuitive gift was always within you. So let's begin and dial up our intuition together. All right, I am so pleased to have a great guest with me today, Robert Christopher Copes, a scientist and former banker who has spent decades exploring near-death experiences and sharing his insights through lectures across the US and Europe. His latest book, Impressions of Near-Death Experiences, looks like this. And this presents a rich tapestry of quotes from hundreds of experiencers whom he regards as life's greatest teachers. Now, currently he serves on the board of International Association for Near-Death Studies, and he resides in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, where he volunteers with children who are struggling in school. So what a nice guy you are. I am so glad to have you here.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you, Kat. Really, I have been looking forward to that.
Oh, I have too. This is going to be great. You have so much knowledge and information on this subject. You have studied more than 100 accounts of near-death experiences, and you've spoken to so many people and talked about their experiences to gather your research for your book. And by the way, I absolutely adore this book. I have two copies. I think I told you, you autographed one, so I didn't want to ruin it. But when I love a book, I take it apart. I dog ear the pages. I write all over it. I highlight and I absolutely terrorize it. So I have done that to your book. So that means I love it. So,
Okay,
so
good.
don't be offended. I
Sounds good.
terrorized your book. It's a
But
good.
there are like 100 NDEs in my book with more than 100 quotes, but I have studied like thousands of them because the point is I wanted to have quotes in my book that people can look somewhere else. They can find the quotes and they can read the books or they can find it on internet or something else because I wanted, as a scientist, I wanted to make people possible to read back or see back what I use, so that it's not taken from my imagination or so.
No, you've done a lot of work and it's great. So, in this studying of all these experiences, what do you think are some of the commonalities, let's say, of these near death experiencers?
The experience itself, I think the commonalities there are the two important ones for me is unconditional love. That's being stated all over and over again. And the other one that I came across during this book, there were so many quotes saying that we are at least very closely connected to each other, each human, but also with nature and with animals. But some people take it further. They say we are actually one. There is a oneness that we are part of. And we are, some people even say we are all together, we are God. I know that it sounds very strange for some people or blasphemic maybe, but I can just say what I hear from NDEers, and these are some of the quotes. We are part of God. one quote is like, God is in me, I'm in God, we are perfect unity. And I tend to use the word source rather than God, because God is very religious, and then people think of their own religion, and a source takes it a little bit further away.
Yeah. I use that word too ever since my near death experience because when I was there, it felt different. I actually saw a figure of a God on a throne, but it didn't feel the same. It felt like everything all at once. And I
Hmm.
understand that oneness because I experienced it too. I actually felt, this tree wasn't just a tree, it was part of me and I was part of
Yeah.
it. So I
Yes.
do understand that. So is that kind of what you're talking about with the oneness that we are part of? And again, the sky, the tree, the grass,
Yeah.
the God, the source, everything was so interconnected. I also felt like I was still connected to my husband and my son and my stepdaughter. I was not separated from them whatsoever. I also felt my late father, my late mother, my grandparents who were there with me at that time. And I was not only connected to them as though they were near me, I was part of them. So that's the
Yeah.
oneness you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. And to take it a little bit further, one of the quotes in my book is really astonishing. And that's from a guy who, during his NDE, was told how time worked because he was interested in time. And they took him to another time. So they took him to the time of Michelangelo, the artist, the Renaissance artist in Italy, and they took him to the Sistine Chapel that he painted. The ceiling is very famous. And the funny thing was, because he was very much interested in Michelangelo, that's why they took him to that particular point in time. And for one fleeting moment, he became Michelangelo. And it may sound like strange or really out of anything, but that's one of the quotes and one of the people that really experience it. And for me, that shows you that there is this oneness. We can tap into the information of Michelangelo. We can tap into the information of anyone who has been on Earth before, or anyone who is on Earth now, not now, but when we are dead, when we are part of this otherworldly environment, because we are connected, we are part of the source, and the source has every information. And another thing that makes me think that this oneness is there is yeah, life reviews. Some people have a life review. A life review is where you can see what you've done to others, but you see it not only from your own point of view, you see it also from the point of view of the others. You are the other for a moment or for some time. You feel what was done to that other person. So the distinction that we always make between ourselves and the world around us is because we are part of this world with all our limitations, with time and place. Whereas if you're on the other side, that's what I understand from NDEers, that division or that a limitation or those borders fall away. And you are also anything else, anyone else. So you are also the trees, you are the animals, you are all the people there. And better do something nice to other people because you will feel it yourself.
Yeah. And I'm gonna definitely make you talk about that life review separately because that's really important. But yes, and I know because I did feel that part of it. Now, how do you feel about a person here that affects another person in a either a negative or a positive way? How does that create maybe a ripple effect, or how does that, if we're so
Hmm.
connected, how is that going to affect things, either in a positive or negative way in this world?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I hear regularly being said by NDEers. There is this ripple effect. I can give you an example here of one of the people in my book. It was a woman from the Netherlands who was here just after the war, and we were a war-torn country. There was nothing there, no luxury goods, but her mother had some sweets, and she gave it to her to bring back to school and to share with friends. And she did. And the interesting thing was later on in life, when she had her medical critical situation, which led her into the life review, she saw um, her life review, and then she saw the particular thing that she did. She shared the sweets, and she felt uh, the 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 value that she gave to this school friend. And it didn't stop with the school friend. It went on to the parent of the school friend, the mother, and it went further. So that what she said is there is a ripple effect that leads further than what you can see. And it means, and that's something that I hear more often from NDEers, if you do something, it has an effect on others. Um, and it doesn't stop with where you are. And to give you another example from my book, there was this woman, and she said to me, she had a life review and she saw that everything was sort of okay. But then she had the second time the life review, and she saw that she could have smiled a little bit more to people or say some nice words to people in the street, just small gestures. And those are important. They carry a lot of energy. We may not feel it, but she said, she gave an example. She said, I saw that if I had said something nice to a certain guy in the street that I passed by, he wouldn't go home and beat up his wife. Um, and in another instance, if she would have smiled to someone, that person wouldn't have gone home having these suicide thoughts. It makes you think what we can do. It's we have an effect in whatever we do. And I also try to see it how it is now. And we see a lot of struggle and strife in the world. I think that is the consequence of all these things that people have done in the past, because it has ripple effect and it culminates into what we see now. So the best thing we can do now is to do nice things to each other. Um, Maybe stop the hate words, and be nice to each other. And it can be just small things, just small gestures, nice words, things like that. So the ripple effect is something that is mentioned very often by NDEers. It exists and it has a lot of power.
Yeah. I talk a lot on my episodes about energy and how energy never dies, and we are made of energy. And when we do something that creates an energy that's sent out, say a positive effect, saying something nice, even thinking something nice about someone else or even about ourselves, and it's sent out into that universal energy, how that can make such an effect. And the same with a negative thought. When someone cuts you off
Yes.
on the freeway and you think something
Yeah.
so mean, or when, something negative
We all
happens.
do that. We
Oh,
all
we
do that
do.
once in a while. Yeah. You must see me
I,
on my bicycle through Amsterdam. I'm not the nicest person then.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. But
Yeah.
yeah, and if we can just try and turn that around and think those positive thoughts again, look in the mirror in
Yeah.
the morning, and instead of saying, "Oh, I look awful today," start thinking positively and seeing the good and seeing, I'm a good, wonderful person. and I'm going to
You
do.
say something important here because it's not only that you do something nice to others, it's also some kind of self-love. What you say something nice to you in the morning. Don't demean yourself. Don't say all these nasty things about yourself. It's not necessary. You're good as you are. I'm not talking to you, but in general, to your listeners, that's how I understand it. We are all good as we are.
I am good as I
Um,
am.
yes. Yeah.
And we
And
all,
we are all loved beyond our wildest dreams. And some people, I just had a conversation with someone who was in deep distress and heard one of my talks, and she said, "Well, I feel like this and that," and I said, "Don't uh, put yourself low. Understand that you are loved also beyond your wildest dreams." And maybe that uplifts her a little bit.
sometimes when I'm feeling a little down, and I do get down, especially I've had this beautiful, beautiful near death experience, and I was in this
Yeah.
incredible, perfect place. And then I come back into the world, and it's not as pretty, it's not as
No.
beautiful. And sometimes I get a little down and I think, well, how come I had to come back here? And then I
Yeah.
remember my purpose in this world is to make the world a better place through my intentions and through my doing something good. It has nothing to do with me writing this incredible book or doing this incredible
Mm.
work. It's through these small little things that I do to make the world a better place. So by me looking at you and saying, you know what? You're a great person, even if I never say it out loud, but I
Yeah.
think it. Or looking in the mirror and saying, I'm a good person. I have an important job. That job is to make the world a better place by my
Yeah, and
intention.
we all have a task here or there. It doesn't matter
Yes,
what kind of task it is. It doesn't always have to be something big. It can be something small and seemingly insignificant, but nothing is insignificant. We are all valuable beings being here on Earth. The reason that we are here makes us significant already.
that's right.
And again, the small things count as well. And if you say, and I know that if I look in to the news, I get depressed.
Mhm.
But if you also look at all the parents that love their children, all the children loving their parents, friends that love each other, uh, there's a lot of love in the world as well. And I'm happy. I always keep that in mind when I see things on a larger scale, like the politics or what is happening in some countries or so. Still keep that in mind.
Yeah. When I go on the social media and I see all these horrible negative comments, and I just every once in a while will run in and say something nice. And I think, and I get
Yeah,
blasted every once in a while, you're a Pollyanna or you're
yeah,
this, I don't care. Say what you want.
yeah,
I'm just going to say something nice. Occasionally I get wrapped up and say something that's maybe a little tongue in cheek, but I have to remember my job is to help the world be better. My neighbor across the street from me, 96 years old, and she keeps saying, I don't know why God hasn't taken me yet.
oh
And
yeah.
I said, I do. I said, what do you do every night? She says, I pray for all my family and friends that
Mm,
everyone is better, or if someone's sick, I pray for them. And I pray, and I said, you're a prayer warrior. That's your job. And she
yeah,
says, I always want everyone to have a better life. I said, you have a big job. And that's why you're alive, because you have a very big job to fulfill. So everyone does
exactly.
have a big job, and it's to make this world a better place through their positive intentions. So,
Yeah.
why do you think some people have near death experiences and come back? Do you think there's a pattern, or certain people get these experiences? I don't know. Do you have you've met with and researched so many near death experiences? Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I came across some of the people that said I was supposed to have this NDE to show others that there is something else out there, that we are all part of, and that love is important. Um, but at the same time, there are a lot of people that have had an NDE and they don't know what to do with it. They struggle with it. Most of the time, it sounds like it's wonderful to have such an excursion into this lovely oneness with all the unconditional love and so, but coming back is very difficult. You know that from yourself.
I do.
People who have had such an experience have some kind of homesickness, and that will never go away. It will always be there in the background. Some people take, like, on average, that's research, 7 years to adapt, cope with it. Some people need a few weeks or so, but some people 30 years. I came across a few people that had needed more than decades to settle down with the thought that they had been on the other side, and it's on this side it's not so nice. So on average, 7 years. It's not. It's a. They say it's the biggest gift we had, or I had. Um, and but at the same time, they say it's also very, very difficult to cope with it,
Right.
as we because you don't see the nice things here. They are not here. It's
Right.
not as nice as on the other side. And the thing is also that there is, on this side, we are in a body, we are confined in this structure. There are structures around us, there's time, there's place, all these limitations. On the other side, they are not there. There's a total freedom to go wherever you want to go, to be in any time you want to be, things like that. So it is totally different. And what people say also is that on the other side is more real than here. What
Yes.
we experience here is just a very weak imprint of what is on the other side. The other side is real. We are in a kind of a dream state. And then if they look back on life, they say, okay, I had the struggles, but it's nothing compared to the wonders that are on the other side.
Yeah. It does feel like kind of a, what do they say, a holographic existence here on Earth. And that's actually from the Gateway report, which was done by the CIA and the Army. They call it a holographic existence or a holographic world. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's what's real is there, and that this is just, I guess, like the movie The Matrix. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah,
holographic
yeah,
existence. So we're playing a role.
yeah.
We're playing a role
That's
here.
also how I see it a little bit. It's we are here playing a role. We are on a theater. We're doing a play, and once we die, we step off the stage and we are ourselves. We are not
Yes.
the villain or the king that we played. We are ourselves and we go home. That's how in the ear say we go home after this play. And they always say home because we don't belong here. We belong on the other side.
Yes. So do you have any proof, or do you believe there is proof that near-death experiences are real?
They are wonderful stories and they seem like fairy tale stories. And as a scientist, I need proof. And what I looked for and what is there is circumstantial evidence that near-death experiences are real. And they come from specific NDEs, which we call veridical observations, or NDEs with veridical observations. Veridical in the sense that they are verified. So imagine someone has an NDE, they get out of their body. Sometimes they can just be around their body for a little while, at the crash site of the car or in the operating room, and they can overhear what the doctors say, what the nurses do, see what the car is like, see what is happening around the car. And then when they have, after their NDE, when they come back again, they can tell what they have seen. And then it needs to be verified independently by someone else. And there are hundreds of these stories. So it gives the impression that our consciousness can be separate from our body. And that's important conclusion because until now, science always thought, well, the brain creates a consciousness. But from NDEs, especially these veridical observations, it is clear that your consciousness can be somewhere else than where your body is. That's the first category of veridical observations. And in my new book, I would mention the second category because sometimes people have meaningful conversations on the other side in well, if you want to call it that, heaven or the otherworldly environment. And then when they come back again, they say these things. Sometimes they don't understand what they had as proof, and then it is independently verified. I'll give you an example here because otherwise it's too theoretical. I was a woman and she was having her near-death experience. On the other side, she saw deceased relatives. One of the deceased relatives came forward and showed himself as a baby boy, and said, "I'm your brother." And she said, "I don't have a brother." Uh, and he said, "Well, just remember how I look like, and ask your father." And when she came through again, and she was resuscitated, she had later a conversation with her father, and she confronted him with this information. And he said, "I have to admit, you had a baby brother that died just before, well, before you were born, and it died very quickly after it was born. But we never wanted to talk about it because it was too painful for us, and we didn't see any value in talking about it to you." So there it was, and she didn't know this, and yet she got the information on the other side. So the other side must be there too.
Yeah.
And there are many of these stories, and I think they give some circumstantial evidence that NDEs are real.
That does make sense. And I'll tell you from my experience, it felt far more real than this life feels. So,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget any tiny detail of it. So it wasn't a dream because we always forget our dreams. But
And that's what many NDEers say. They know everything. They know all the details, and it has been proven in research in the Netherlands also that in 10 years afterwards, people still have the same story. They don't forget it,
yeah,
and it's not a dream. It's something totally different.
yeah. And I'm going to throw you a little loop here because I don't know if you've even thought about this, but in my experience, I felt like where I went was a bit customized to me on
Mm,
purpose.
mm,
And that when you're there, you can kind of customize your surroundings to what you personally need, or that it is customized for you because you need to be comforted at that time. Or they want you to, I don't know, they source whatever, but you need to be
yeah.
comforted to a certain extent, um, because I went to a place that was perfect for me. Now, my husband probably would have gone to the beach, but that wouldn't have been comfortable to me. I went to like a park kind of a place, which was perfect for me. And it just seems to me like, in my mind, I always call it kind of the in between because, and that's not a technical term whatsoever.
Mm,
But for me, I was in this place again with this perfectly manicured grass and this gorgeous tree that was kind of like an oak tree, but again, everything there is so very different than what it is here in our realm of earth with the animals and the beautiful music and all of this. And that was again perfect for what I needed to be the most beautiful place I could ever
yeah.
imagine and beyond. And so I wonder if people get what they need. And again, there was a man on a throne that looked to me like it was a god that appeared. Now, why wasn't it Buddha or,
Mm.
some other god? Well, that was what I needed.
Buddha is not a god. Buddha is not a
Okay.
god. Buddha is a person who got
Okay.
enlightened. That is the idea.
See, and I don't even
Buddhism
know
is
that.
not a Buddhism is not a religion in the sense that it has a God. It's more a prescription for life. How do you do your life in order to
Okay.
escape the wheel of life? Yeah.
See, I don't even know
No, but
that.
yeah, but that's what I hear sometimes also. That sometimes they feel and the ears feel that the environment where they are is customized to them.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I know one of the stories is also in my book, where a woman was hanging in this dark void, and it was wonderful. She really loved it. It was soft, and there was unconditional love for her. And then after a while, she thought, okay, I'd like to see something. And then, and she said, it seemed as if a hand with a lot of paintbrushes came along and painted like from left to right and then back again, the most wonderful scene for her. And with rolling hills and a park, well, what you might have been in, a
Yeah.
park like landscape with butterflies everywhere and stuff
Right.
like that. And she said, I did it.
Just what you needed.
It was
Yeah.
my thought, and I created that.
Right. Just what I needed and just what I would
You
have
know,
wanted. Yes. And then I had this beautiful pathway that lit up like it was brighter than the sun, but didn't hurt my eyes. And I knew all I had to do was go just a few steps down that pathway and I would be home forever.
oh yeah, home.
Home.
Yeah,
Oh, it's definitely home.
yeah.
And then my dad showed up. Yeah. And stopped me and
And
said, I'm
that's
ready
what
to
I
go home.
wanted to hear. They stop you because you are here, apparently.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would have been on the
Otherwise, I
other
wouldn't
side.
be. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be. Yeah. And so it's just, yeah. And there are those commonalities, like you say, that, people experience certain things. Not everyone gets the same thing, but there are certain commonalities. A lot of people I've heard.
Well, all NDEs are different. That's what strikes me. It's
Yeah.
everyone is different. Not everyone gets to see the same kind of things. Some people see landscapes, some people don't see it, and they only have a light environment, or they see geometric figures, or it can be anything. It is, and that makes it so interesting. That's
Right.
why you need to see a lot of NDEs or read a lot of NDEs to get some kind of understanding of what they
Understanding.
are.
Yes.
Yeah,
But a lot of them feel that love, that pure, unconditional,
yeah,
incredible feeling of love that gives you that feeling when you come back of it was a love fest and
yeah,
I need to love more. Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah.
that. Not everyone, but I believe probably a lot. Is that your experience? A lot of love?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I started with. The two things that strike me from NDEs is unconditional love and this oneness. Those are the two things that
Yeah.
I would say are the central points of an NDE.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm far greater in love with nature than I was before. And I just want to be around the trees. And I was never a
Mm.
plant person. I always said, I've got black thumbs. I don't want to be, but I want to be around nature and animals and people. I'm just far more open to, the
Mm.
homeless people. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not afraid
You
of
feel
them.
more connected. You feel connected to
Yes.
everyone. So also with people that are in a disadvantageous position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had, I've always donated and been on boards for homeless people and things like that. But that was from a business standpoint. That wasn't from a let me go and hug you standpoint. And I'm different now.
Mm.
I'm very
Yeah,
different now.
but also just to give you a thought, are you also feeling the same feelings to people that have that are in a more advantageous position than you are? Because that's how it is balanced. That's real compassion when you understand the feelings of people who have less or people who have more. Some people who have more are they enjoy it. That's nice if people enjoy it. But some people who have so much, they start being not so nice anymore. It's also a burden to have too much money or too much wealth
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah,
It's so compassion needs to go both ways.
it does. And I've actually been around a lot of very wealthy people because of my careers. Um, I worked for Paul Allen, who was the fourth richest man in the world, and he brought around a lot of his friends, and so I had an opportunity to meet, several of his friends, and so I've met, quite a few very wealthy people, and some of them are great, and some of them aren't. So
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always just looked at people as people, but I did have an issue with some people that I was afraid of,
Hmm.
and I'm no longer afraid of people.
Okay.
And that was something I
But
actually
they all
wanted.
have their own road, their own road to walk. They have their own path to follow. And for anyone, rich or poor, that's it's sometimes a big struggle.
Yeah, it's
And we
true.
have to have compassion with anyone who is struggling,
Oh yes.
I think.
And I
I
always
say
have.
must, but I don't want to say you must do this or you must do that. But it's more that it's something we have to contemplate on too. We should have, in my opinion, have compassion with.
Yeah. And I've always had the compassion. I've just always had some fear of certain things or certain people. And I've learned that. In fact, I was taught to, in fact, in my near-death experience, I was taught, look into their eyes and see their
Mm.
soul. That was something I was directly taught in my near-death experience, and I'm able to
Yeah,
do
and
that.
they also carry God within them or the source within them. That's
Yes.
in everyone. That's how I see oneness. We all have the source within us. And sometimes I say if a child is born, there's a vacancy. What goes in the child to make it run, to make it go? That's the source because there's nothing else. There's only one. There's the source goes in there. So the source leads everyone's life.
Yeah.
All the animals, all the trees, everything. The stones, the rocks, the people, anything.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
the source.
I'm a big rock fan, so I definitely get that. And
Yeah.
now, yeah, I'm a fan of everything on the earth since my near-death experience. So, and I'm far less judgmental of anything. Bugs, okay.
Yeah.
People, whether they have a lot of money or no money at all, no matter where they are on the earth, different countries, different anything. I'm a fan, and I
But
believe.
I do protest against things that I think are less loving or that are detrimental to humanity. There's a lot of things that I protest against now. So it's not, I understand that people, everyone is part of God. We all have the divinity within us. We just need to express that. But I also think that some things need to be corrected. The course that is uh, initiated by some people need to be corrected. Some things are not right. Genocide, for instance, is not good. We
No,
saw it in the Second World War. We see it now again in several places in the world. We should not sit back and allow that. Things. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
love the
Even though I
people.
see the divine within everyone.
Yes, love the people. Defend against the actions
Yes.
and
Yeah.
protest.
Something like that.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. Well, this has been beautiful and wonderful. And the oneness that you're talking about, I absolutely felt it. I absolutely believe it. And you are a wealth of knowledge on this subject and on near death experiences. I so appreciate it. Do you have a last word on the subject of oneness that you wanted to voice out?
Well. maybe small things that we need to do also, like smiling and saying nice things to people. I learned that from this person in my book. I spoke to her, and what I do now is I try to do that 3 times a day. Just smile at someone I don't know, or say something nice to someone I don't know, because I know it creates the right ripples. And it shouldn't be someone I know, because it's easy to smile at someone or say something nice to someone you know, but do it to someone you don't know.
I
May
find
that be an assignment for the listeners
There
for
you
one day.
go. We're assigning you, the listener, to do that. I find as I get older, they might just look at me like, oh, she's just a little old lady, so I'm, okay to do that. But I think we all need to do that, and I'm actually pleased that so many people are actually responding to my smiles and my hellos and just the positive energy that I'm sending out. Even if I don't say a word, people feel it. People feel it and see it. And the smiles, they're going a long way. So that's the assignment for all of my listeners. Smile more, send out those positive messages. And when you can, and when you've got that courage, say something nice to people. And certainly say something nice when you look in the mirror to yourself. We don't do that enough, and we need to. Got to have that ripple effect in the right way. Send out those positive ripples, make the world a much better place. And on that note, thank you for coming in and talking to me, talking to my listeners. I really appreciate it. And you are just so wonderful to have on. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm bringing you
Thank you for
back.
having me, Kat.
Yeah, definitely bringing you
Thank you.
back. Thank you.